Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I'm sure as some of you are aware, one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio, which is Hyliion, has been absolutely crashing recently. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it's been an absolute disaster and the stock has fell through the floor from its peak of around $58 per share. And now I think it's trading in the low 20s, so it's lost more than half its value. And I know a lot of you are waiting to see if I will make a video giving you guys an update on what I think on why the stock is crashing and what's my plan on the stock going forward. So I thought I'd make that video today and talk about it. So yeah, let's talk about it. Quick pause. I got my official affiliate links for Wealthsimple, so you can check them out in the description down below. You can get $10 of cash bonus when you deposit and trade your first $100 worth of stocks on Wealthsimple Trade, Canada's first and only commission-free trading platform. Or you can sign up for Wealthsimple Invest, where you can automate your investing and let compound interest work in your favor without any user intervention. And the sign-up bonus for that is $50 when you deposit and invest your first $500. Now, full disclosure, these are affiliate links, so you don't have to use them if you don't want to, but if you decide to do so, it helps me out, it helps out this channel, and it would be greatly appreciated at no additional cost to you. Now back to the video. But first of all, why is Hyliion crashing though? Well, in my opinion, the main reason was that people were just hyping into the stock really hard back when the stock was at like $50 a share. And now that the merger was completed and the hype has kind of died down, people are flooding out of this stock, right? I mean, before the merger happened, I read a lot of Reddit posts and people online were saying that the stock was going to hit like 90 or 100 bucks. Now that was kind of unrealistic to begin with, in my opinion. And when that didn't happen, people kind of started panic selling. And if you think that the stock falling 5 to 10% a day is absolutely ridiculous, well, I didn't hear you complain when the stock was going up 5 to 10% per day back when it was still trading as SHLL. So you know, this is just how it works with these speculative stocks sometimes. And if you're a beginner in the stock market, this might be really hard for you to bear emotionally, right? Because especially if you're just in it for a quick trade and you didn't really believe in the company in the long term, yeah, it's gonna suck when you jump into the stock at like $50 a share and now it's at like $22 or $23 per share. So, you know, in school they teach you that the market is efficient, meaning that the market accurately reflects the price of each stock and the value of the company. So the price of the stock reflects the value of the company. That's what I meant to say. And I can tell you that this is absolutely not true. Okay, so I can tell you for a fact that the market is not efficient. And to convince yourself of this, all you have to do is look at Hyliion and Nikola. So Hyliion, a company that actually has products, by the way, and has real positive reviews and a good management team, as far as I'm aware, is massively down for no reason, in my opinion. And at the same time, a company like Nikola, who, by the way, don't forget, they basically admitted to rolling their truck down a hill because their prototype didn't even work. Their website just basically consists of computer-generated graphics because they don't actually have any products. And, you know, their products are basically just in the imagination of Robinhood traders, and whose chairman had to resign, by the way, because of fraud allegations. So, you know, that's Nikola for you. And you're telling me that Nikola, with a market cap of $8 billion, which is now worth more than twice as much as Hyliion is worth, you're telling me that Nikola should be worth twice as much as Hyliion? Come on, guys, give me a break. The market is not efficient, okay? And also, there's been a lot of short sellers that's been flooding into the stock, which has put enormous down pressure on the stock. So if you look at the short volume on this stock, it's been above 30% for the past 4 trading days, and it looks like this trend might continue for a while. So I hate to say it, but there might be some more downwards pressure in the short term coming soon, and I frankly wouldn't be surprised if the stock hit below 20. However, on the bright side, this could trigger what's called a short squeeze. So in case you don't know what a short squeeze is, it's basically when too many people have shorted the stock and the stock starts to trend up for whatever reason, and then the shorts start to panic because, well, they're short the stock, right? So they need to cover. So then that leads to a panic buy, and then that drives up the price like exponentially. Right? So arguably this happened with Tesla back then. And for all those people who shorted Tesla, well, they're probably not doing so well right now, right? People like started panic buying Tesla, and that was part of the reason why Tesla had like a huge exponential growth curve. Tesla was heavily shorted at one point as well. probably not that much anymore. And maybe people still like to recklessly throw their money into a fire pit, but I'm not saying that this is going to happen with Hyliion. I'm not saying a short squeeze is going to happen with Hyliion for sure, but I'm saying that if the shorts continue to flood this stock, it might happen, right? It could. So lastly, I wanted to talk about that episode of Mad Money with Jim Cramer when he talked about Hyliion. So a lot of people were complaining that Jim Cramer has trash talked Hyliion. So, you know, Jim Cramer, whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny that he has an influence over a lot of people, right? Especially retail investors. And, you know, I heard a lot of angry people on Reddit who are just trash talking Jim Cramer because apparently he trash talked Hyliion. So I went and watched the video where he talked about Hyliion, and I was like, what the heck are people talking about, right? Like, did we watch the same video, or I'm confused? Am I just hallucinating? Because in my opinion, Jim Cramer was actually really positive on Hyliion. He said that Hyliion is a business and not just a business plan, which is more than what can be said for a lot of other companies. Nikola. So all he said was that the negative about the company was that, you know, the stock is not a buy at the moment. He said that the stock was overvalued. So, you know, he set a price target for $20 a share, which at that time, I think the stock was trading for around $28 a share. And judging by the price of this stock, it's going to be $20 per share very soon. So I guess this means that it'll be a buy for Jim Cramer very soon. So he'll have to add it to his charitable trust, right? And once again, if you're in it for the long term and you believe that the stock will be worth $100 or $200 at some point in the future, well then, does it really matter whether you bought in at $20 per share or $30 per share? Just think about that for a second, okay? So, anyways, moving on to some news surrounding Hyliion, though. As I said, I've only heard some really good news about Hyliion. I haven't really heard any, like, bad news. Maybe I'm just, like, biased and I'm, like, selectively blind, but I swear I'm not. I just looked through all the news feed and I haven't found anything that's, like, super alarming or super bad about Hyliion. So, yeah, the fact that it's crashing, I really don't think that it's based on any news, but some good news has come out regarding Hyliion, where I think that it should actually help alleviate some of the pressure on the stock, is that, first of all, the announcement of the partnership with American Natural Gas, or ANG as they're commonly known as. And let me just read you part of the press release and you can make up your own mind, right? So don't take it from my opinion, because obviously I'm biased because I'm a shareholder. Just read the news report and read the press release and make your own conclusions. So Austin, Texas Business Wire. Hyliion, a leader in electrified powertrain solutions for Class 8 commercial vehicles, and American Natural Gas Incorporated, ANG, an industry-leading alternative fuel provider, announced today a partnership agreement that offers Hyliion customers discounted pricing for renewable natural gas, RNG, at ANG fueling stations across the country. For qualifying fleet customers, ANG has also agreed to build new fueling stations near Hyliion's customer locations with no upfront capital costs to such customers. Hyliion and ANG has also entered into a sales agreement that includes a pre-order up to 250 Hypertruck ERX vehicles, allowing for early availability of Hyliion's fully electric powertrain to ANG and its fleet customers. Using RNG, the Hypertruck ERX is an electric solution for Class A vehicles that offer net negative carbon emissions profile and the lowest total cost of ownership over the life of the vehicle compared to current competitive offerings. Wow, so I think that investors, for whatever reason, have swept this under the rug, but in my opinion, this is actually big news because ANG giving Hyliion customers discounted pricing on fuel, and you know, cost is one of the things that truck transport companies, that's what they care about the most, right? Because obviously, well, they're a logistics company and the entire freight transport industry is basically one big math problem. So you know those like high school math problems that you had to do, like how much fuel can you carry and how much like cargo can you carry? Yeah, that's like exactly what the entire logistics industry is. And you know, I don't have to tell you how significant it is for you to get a discount on fuel if you're if you're in the logistics industry. So yeah, natural gas is already cheap compared to diesel, and it's certainly way cheaper than, say, hydrogen. So the fact that they're gonna get a discount on top of something that's already cheap, I think that this is a big deal, and this will convince a lot of people to switch to Hyliion systems. Also, we get the news that Axioma, so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but they're a venture capitalist firm. They have disclosed a 10.82% stake in Hyliion, which at today's prices is around, you know, a $370 maybe $million position. To be clear, that this doesn't mean that they bought like $370 million worth of stock. They just revealed that they had those shares already. But still, it's nice to see that some institutions have taken a large stake in Hyliion, and it's not just retail investors on Robinhood who's like bidding the price up. So I can go on and on about all the other stuff that has come out about Hyliion that could be catalyst for growth in the future, but I don't want this video to be like an hour long, so I'll just leave the news here. I'll leave some links to other videos I've made about Hyliion, about my bullish thesis and now on, so if you want to check them out, links will be down in the description down below. But I want to talk about my plans regarding Hyliion shares and what I'm doing with my shares. And my plan is that not only am I not selling my shares, I actually went ahead and bought more. And now that's a disclaimer, please don't just blindly copy me. Obviously that this stock is a falling knife right now, so I've like reached out and caught the falling knife, but please don't just like blindly following me, because you're gonna like get your hand hurt if you try to catch falling knife, right? So this is not financial advice, and I'm by no means a prophet or even a financial advisor, and I'm not recommending you to buy, sell, or short any stock, but I'm just telling you my opinion. And in my opinion, I think that what's happening to Hyliion doesn't make that much sense. And when things don't make sense, that's where you can make the majority of your money in the stock market. And if you don't believe me, examples of moments in the past where I have personally made a lot of money from things that don't make sense. Well, first of course is Tesla, right? So I always talk about this, so excuse me for talking about it again, but I was looking at Tesla stock back in, let's say summer, I think it was 2019, summer 2019, and I remember thinking to myself that, wow, it didn't make much sense that Tesla should be worth less in terms of market cap compared to like Ford or GM, when Tesla is like the world's leading electric vehicle manufacturer. Yeah, so I just thought that it didn't make sense, so I went ahead and bought some Tesla shares, and safe to say I did pretty well on those. And next example is Facebook. So I remember I started to buy Facebook shares when they were at like $160 per share or so, and it had like a PE ratio of 20. I mean, you would not believe the amount of disrespect that Wall Street showed Facebook and Tesla, right? So for the longest time, you know, Facebook being such a big tech giant with a PE ratio of 20, if you know anything about PE ratios, a company like Facebook who has no debt and who has insane growth still should be worth a PE ratio of 20. It just didn't make sense, right? So that's why I bought Facebook shares, and I'm doing really well on Facebook shares as well, because at some point people woke up and then those stocks just like went flying. And I'm not suggesting that this will happen to Hyliion for sure once again. I'm just saying that, once again, it could, right? So I added 75 shares today, and now I have a grand total of 325 shares in total at a cost basis of around $24.50. So we're down slightly on this position overall at the moment right now, obviously. And yeah, like I said, this is a long-term hold for me, and we'll see where it goes, right? So in the short term, there's going to be pain. And yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of like an occupational hazard when you're an investor, right? So if you really believe in a company and you've done your due diligence, you've done your research, I think that it's good to hold a stock even if you're down on it a lot. Unless something fundamental changes about the company, then you know, tough luck if that happens, right? But again, I don't see any fundamental changes with Hyliion, so I'm gonna hold. Anyways, the video is getting a little long, so I'll leave it here. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you like this series. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, links down below in the description as always. And with that being said, see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.